It's an incredible honor to speak alongside Hisham once again, and thank you for providing a perspective and a kind of expertise that I could never offer as simply someone who has observed but never really known what it means to live under real occupation as a Palestinian. Welcome everybody. I am so happy to be here. Coming home to the Bay Area, I melt every time I step off the plane. I'm from here originally. Anyway, I'm so thrilled to be here, and especially to see all the people who I've known now for years working on this issue, and it's inspiring being here, going around the country and coming here to see the way that things blossom. It's amazing. Keep it up. I'm Anna Baltzer, and I'm here to tell you about my work in Palestine. I got into this work, for those of you who don't know me, I got into this work actually after I graduated from college. I was an avid traveler, and I backpacked around Iran and Syria and Lebanon. And along my way, I was taken in by a number of Palestinians who turned out to be Palestinian refugees. I didn't know at the time who the Palestinians were. So when I heard from people that they were Palestinians, they were from Palestine, that didn't mean anything to me. In fact, those words just weren't part of my vocabulary. It was through my friendships with the Palestinian people that I met that I began to hear for the first time in my life a completely different version of the history and present of Israel-Palestine from anything that I had ever heard or learned growing up as a Jewish American. And my first reaction was, as many people's will be, disbelief. I thought these are very nice, well-intentioned people, but they have been completely misled. And I set out to sort of maybe prove them wrong, and as soon as I began to do some research, hoping to prove them wrong, I realized very quickly that it was I who had been misled. And not knowing what to believe anymore, I decided to go to Palestine to see with my own two eyes what was happening, and that's what I'm here to tell you about today. Before I start the photo presentation, I wanted to clarify a few different categories that can be very confusing, and that confusion can really prevent people from moving forward on this issue. So I'd like to distinguish between what it means to be Jewish, so somebody who's Jewish, somebody either of the Jewish religion, obviously, or the Jewish lineage. My mom's Jewish, her mom's Jewish. This, I know, many people know this, but it's good to lay it out there. To be Jewish, then, is different from what it means to be Israeli. An Israeli is a citizen of the state of Israel. It's a citizenship. And that, to be Israeli, is different from what it means to be a Zionist. And Zionism is a political ideology that supports the Jewish state in historic Palestine, often no matter what the cost to the indigenous population. Anyway, these are three separate categories: Jewish, Israeli, Zionist, and sometimes they overlap in the same person, but they are not the same thing. There are Jews who aren't Israeli, like myself. There are Israelis who aren't Jewish. About 20% of the people who have Israeli citizenship are Palestinian. There are Jews who are anti-Zionist, who say this land should be there for this land should be for anybody who's been living there for generations, regardless of what their religion or their ethnicity is. And then there are Zionists who aren't Jewish, the increasingly influential Christian Zionist movement, largely based in this country, that talks about fueling this conflict to bring about the Armageddon, to speed the return of the Messiah. Not at all pro-Jewish. You know, what happens to Jews in the Armageddon? It's not about preserving Judaism, it is Zionism. So we see these distinctions, and they're so crucial, first of all, because we don't want to in any way associate the things that Israel is doing and the things that Hisham outlined and Naim outlined, and I'll be talking about as well. We must not associate these things with Judaism. I mean, occupation, oppression, discrimination, these things have nothing to do with Judaism. And likewise, and this is the important part, to speak out against them, to speak out against the violation of people's rights, to speak out against apartheid, to speak out against ethnic cleansing, is not anti-Semitic. It's in line with the tradition of social justice that has been the pride of many Jewish people and many other people. It's been the pride of not just Jewish people, of course. We don't have a monopoly on social justice, but for so many people for so long. And frankly, when we hear people use this kind of bullying and name-calling to say that to criticize oppression is to criticize Judaism, what does that really mean? Is that not in itself an anti-Semitic claim? We need to turn that around on them and really break that down. And I'm especially excited, actually, to be presenting during Israeli Apartheid Week to talk about also some of those parallels with apartheid in South Africa, not only in terms of what's happening on the ground today, but also in ways of how we're going to help support Palestinians and stop it.